The Brooklyn Nets lost to the Indiana Pacers on November 25th to fall to 9-11 and sit in 10th place in the Eastern Conference. Amid KD's offseason trade request and Kyrie Irving's suspension, it looked like the Nets' season was already over. But it wasn't. The Nets have won 15 of the 16 games played since that loss to the Pacers and currently sit on an 11-game win streak and in second place in the Eastern Conference. This team was dead in the water, and it looked like it was bound for a blow-up. However, only a month later, this team looks like a true contender and one that has the assets to make themselves even better if they so desire. But how did they turn it around so well and so quickly? To understand that, let's take a look at their individual performers. When looking at stats for players, let's look at only the last 16 games, because that is where the Nets have thrived. Kevin Durant has been the leader of the show, and if his play continues, he will be a legitimate MVP candidate. He's averaging 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists, which are great numbers, but the truly crazy part is his efficiency. He's shooting 60% from the field, which are mostly jumpers, not looks at the rim like big men, 41% from 3, and has made an astounding 86 out of 90 free throw attempts over that span, for about 96% from the line. He has been scoring with ease, and this is arguably the best KD has ever looked, and as long as he can stay healthy, this team will likely keep winning, and he could win his second MVP award. KD's running mate has been Kyrie Irving, who since the early suspension has been on his best behavior at press conferences and off the court, making sure not to do anything to ruin the Nets' success. Is he behaving this way because he's in a contract year? That could be, but either way, it's a positive for Brooklyn. His play on the court, however, has been even more impressive than his off-the-court change. He's averaging 27 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, and feels just about as lethal as a scorer as he's ever been, as the 27 points per game matches his career high for a season average. However, like KD, his efficiency might be even more impressive than the totals. Right now, Kyrie is shooting 50% from the field, 41% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. Both of the Nets stars could hit the unreal 50-40-90 number, from which is the utmost level most players strive to reach. It's extremely difficult for high-volume players to hit these numbers, but the Nets could have 2 of them. The third player I want to point to is young center Nick Claxton. The media has been saying for a while now that the Nets need an upgraded center, and for a while that seemed reasonable. But Claxton has been phenomenal as of late. Over the Nets' successful span, he's averaging 12 points, 8 rebounds, and an unbelievable 3 blocks per game. He has turned himself into one of the league's best rim protectors, as well as already being a legitimate lob threat and solid rebounder. He's not a star player, but tough, high-effort players like Claxton are players that every championship team needs. The player that was supposed to be the third star for Brooklyn was Ben Simmons, who was a 3-time All-Star that they acquired for James Harden at last year's trade deadline. He started the season really rough, and there was even a stretch where the Nets brought him off the bench. His scoring still hasn't quite come around, but I'd say he's definitely trending in the right direction. He's averaging 6 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists over their recent span, while also racking up a steal and a half per game and shooting 55% from the field. He's locked back in defensively and looks like a stud on that end once again. He's still a great playmaker for others, even though he should look for his shot more often. However, the team is better when he's on the floor, with a plus-minus of positive 74 over these last 16 games, of which he played only 11. I'd say those are the biggest pieces of their turnaround, but the team has many other players playing well also. TJ Warren is averaging 10 points per game over the span, and did have a 23-point outburst the day after Christmas. Before the injury that had sidelined him since the bubble, Warren was a consistent 20-point per game guy, so hopefully he can continue to trend back in that direction. Joe Harris has finally started to pick it up as well, averaging 11 points per game on 47% from 3. Whether they'll choose to keep him or not at the deadline is unknown, but his spacing is very valuable right now to this team. Seth Curry is currently bringing a similar spacing aspect, and those two guys really open up the floor. Yuta Watanabe has been one of the brightest spots in this season for this Nets team, bringing lots of energy and impressive floor spacing. For the season, he's putting up 8 points per game while shooting 51% from 3. The Brooklyn Nets have turned their season around in an unbelievably impressive way that no one really expected. The team looks completely different under new head coach Jacques Vaughn than they did under Steve Nash, and it feels as if they bought in more on the defensive end, which is promising. The team has been unbelievable over this 15-1 run, putting up 118 points per game while shooting a jaw-dropping 54% from the field, 42% from three, and 80% from the free throw line. The team has an offensive rating of 120.8 over this stretch, which is on par with the historic level that we saw from Boston earlier on this season. They also have a defensive rating of 112.5 for a very impressive net rating of 8.3. To put those numbers into context, they're ranked number 1 offensively, number 7 defensively, and number 1 in net rating over this 16-game span. The efficiency numbers should realistically fall back down, but this team is legit offensively, and if the defense can hold up as well as staying out of drama, they'll continue to be one of the best teams in the entire NBA and a true championship contender. Thanks for watching. I'm Herm. Have a good one.